It is time for F1
on MidWest eSports. Nick and Mitch, Division 1 for the rest of the season. This is race 12 out of 15th. Every time I go to type the description, get this stream prepped, and I type in 12th, it gets so confused. Is it an F or is it a V? It's an F, right?
It's a good question.
It's a stumper. It's an F, I'm pretty sure, though.
I didn't count my Roman numerals that high. I think I got to X and then I stopped. So.
All of the other ones like 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, or 11th, fine, 12th. Change it. V to an F.
Awful. Well, yeah, like he said, welcome back to Season F of MidWest eSports Formula 1 Division 1 right here on Nick and Mitch. This week, we find ourselves back in Singapore, one of my favorite tracks on the calendar. It is the Yas Marina circuit. Once again, a wonderful road track right along the water there in Singapore. This one under the lights, still going to be super hot. Tires going to be super grippy. And we are going to be in for one wonderful race. We have just a couple remaining in the season, so points are becoming more and more crucial. We're going to get to those at the start of the race, but we do have some time before drivers get underway with qualifying, so we can review a few points of note. So last week, we did have an incident between Houdini and Callie Robb that was deemed no further action from the stewards. Upon review, stewards agreed that neither party did anything wrong to warrant a penalty. Callie Robb does his braking in a straight line and leaves cars width on the outside of the entry to turn 1. Of course, he could have left more space, but the rules only state you have to leave one car width. So additional mitigation factors were considered, and such as the angle and narrowing of the track leading into turn 1. It doesn't kink, so no further action was taken. They said, he left enough room. There's a lot of calculation. There was a lot of back and forth, but nothing happened after the race last week, which means our race winners stay atop right where they were. That winner last week, of course, was... Where is it? It's not on the schedule yet.
I got it. It is Final Flame.
Thank you.
Right?
Yes.
And that's the right one. It was a relative shakeup in the top 5 for most of the race. We had Final Flame in first, Edwin in second, Scarenzi in third, Reimer in fourth, and Gott Palmer in fifth.
Thank you.
There it was.
Yeah, it was a wonderful race for those top 5, top 6. There's a lot of back and forth, a lot of ebbing and flowing, and using as much of that DRS zone, that single DRS zone in Imola as possible. But it was exciting until the very end, much like last week's race in real life with Lando, making it, exciting up until the very end, making Max work for it. So we are here for that in real life. We're here for that in Formula One eSport as well. We do also have a substitute drivers tonight. The Haas garage is completely on reserve tonight. Visa Cash App VTech is out along with Mac. And in, once again, last week's winner, Final Flame AK, and Dusty Lusky is back once again for Division 1 action. So will Final Flame be able to make it 2 in a row? He's out on track right now along with the rest of the pack. We are 15 minutes to go in Q1 and only here in Singapore, and laps are going to be set here momentarily.
We'll ride along the Plums for the first hot lap, I believe, of qualifying. He was first one out of the garage in Ferrari. I believe Ferrari finished 6th and 7th last week, but the Plums was not in. I think his rapper was riding in his place. So the Plums looking to put a good drive out there tonight. He is in 8th place in the Drivers' Championship, just 3 behind his teammate, but 2 drivers very close behind him. The Plums at 336, Gunner at 334, Houdini at 333. So those final 3 spots of the top 10 are going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah, we may not have a very tight race for first place this season as it stands right now, but yeah, definitely some action points. Sorry, do we? You made a face.
We do.
Oh,
it's
sorry.
a 10-point difference right now.
I have no numbers in front of me, so I am just completely talking out my butt. So it is a leg race.
Oh, yeah. The Constructors' Cup is not as much. That's where you're getting mixed up.
Yeah, sorry.
No, yeah, got Palmer in first, and then Scarenzi 10 points behind him. And then 3rd place, Mackie Marquis, about 90 points behind Scarenzi.
Plum setting the initial fastest lap with a 1:2.99. That is going to set the bar for the rest of the pack. Nicky just under that 1:30 mark. Mackie Marquis goes 1:28.1, really shaving some time off of the Plums there. That Williams has been qualifying really, really well every single race this season. So no surprise there to see Mackie atop, holding provisional pole right now, but there's still so much of qualifying left to go. We can't call it just yet. Couple of caution flags, but that is normal for a qualifying session as drivers yield to the faster car coming around trying to set a lap. We are on board now with Race Day, who... Did he leave last week's race?
He had a DNF. I don't remember the reason off the top of my head. He goes up into 2nd place, though, but 7 tenths behind Mackie Marquis.
Yeah,
I want to say I'm scrolling. He went off early in the race and then just had some car trouble throughout.
Yeah, it was...
And then had a mid-race exit.
Yeah, the infamous quote from Mackie. I mean, it was... probably 20 minutes to go in the actual race. The quote, "I got pole. I had the best start of my career, only to have everything come apart." So, yeah, just unfortunate turn of events in Italy last week for Race Day. We'll see if the young gun is able to keep that car intact on track until the checkered flag this week. He was on pole last week, as he said, and could very well be there once again. If not, he'll definitely be up in the top of the pack. But again, whether or not he'll be able to fight to the checkered flag remains yet to be seen. On board now with Got Palmer, as he has yet to set his lap, coming down behind his teammate, but too far of a gap to capitalize on any DRS advantage here. Will we see the teammate, Chuck Blazin, slow down to give Got Palmer some extra advantage here through 3 huge DRS zones around just a 2-mile circuit? A lot of speed here in the marina.
Might give him a toe on the final straight, if anything, but I do think that Chuck Blazen's also trying to set one of his anchor laps, so I don't know if he's going to slow down. It does look like there's a car between them now. Got Palmer is going to be going for pole position. Scarenzi, the man battling him for that Drivers' Championship, currently in third. And we see him catching up to his teammate once again. He might, in fact, have gotten just a little bit of a tow. I believe he is way off on this lap, at least for quali. Not sure what happened there.
It's not an awful thing just yet. He's going to head into the pits and see if he can't tweak something there. But plenty of time to go back out, set another lap or 3, especially as the track starts getting run in a wee little bit as some rubber is left on the pace line. And these tires get a little warmer, get a little more grip. So we will see how the drivers fare. Do want to take a quick moment before the action gets started today and thank our D1 stewards. Thank you very much, of course, to Commissioner Porkchops, along with WS Lancy and Knuckles, our head D1 steward for season 12. Thank you to them and all the other stewards in in Midwest racing, who keep the lights on after the drivers head off the track. Appreciate you very much. What's up, chat? Hey, what's going on, Abe? We also love the intro song and all of the vibes. So very, very happy to be providing the vibes here for the stream. And it does look like Abe has some news from the track. We will be getting rain throughout this race. When that will start remains yet to be seen, but we may be seeing some inclement weather here in the Bay through today's action. So definitely going to shake things up if that's the case. We're going to have some extra strategy maneuvers, and it's going to really turn into quite an interesting race, regardless, with a couple of increment tire switches.
I don't remember if it rained the last time we were in Singapore, but this track is very tight with all of the barriers. I want to say it did just a little bit. Yeah, we had a couple safety cars on this track. I'm also wondering, is that Abe Reimer, the Reimer in the McLaren that's in 6th place right now?
That's
sounds the same.
Clues right there.
Could change some of those letters to Y's to make a gamer tag.
No, that's using your dipstick. Do you remember those commercials? The Starburst commercials?
Yes.
You're a contradiction. You're Scotch Korean. You don't make any sense. Those are 2 different commercials.
Yeah, I think
with your dipstick and the Starburst. Those are 2 different Scottish commercials. Never mind. we're back to racing, and we're on board with the second reserve driver for Haas. It's Dusty Lusky. I love saying that name, Dusty Lusky. It rolled. I'm afraid to say it every time. It feels like it's going to be a tongue twister, but as soon as I start, it's just like butter. We're on board with him as he completes a fast lap here.
I'm trying to pull up Singapore from last time. We were covering Division 2, and it was a downpour.
So not even just a little. I think it's a little. No.
There's several safety cars. There was a safety car in lap 7, lap 11, lap 17. Everywhere I've scrolled in this video, I think this was the infamous race.
Oh, the race that just never ended.
Where we had like 3 or 4, the first half of the race was safety cars, and then the game said, that's enough safety cars. Yeah. Any other crashes are just being yoinked off the track.
You and I started running out of safety car banter.
Yeah, I think.
And usually we have that stuff stocked.
I think we started using the ChatGPT, Google Gemini to come up with things to say during the safety cars because there were so many.
Love that side pod shot that we just had of race day coming down the stretch. Currently in 2nd place, looking to best Mackey, who is still out on provisional pole from that initial 1:28.1. Don't know where he found the time there. No one else has been able to even come close. 7/10 separate the front 2 drivers. But will race day be able to rein it in? He will not, but he's definitely closer, within 2/10 now. Race day on pace. He may be able to gain these 2 in the next lap. Keep an eye on the top few grid positions here. as qualifying, move out of the way, caution flag, as qualifying is just under 6 minutes to go. Seeing all the drivers using all of the space possible without, well, I guess you really can't breach track limits without turning your car into confetti. So they're really using every single inch that they can, especially on the outs of these corners, just getting within inches of the walls.
It's in. Look at that on the tire.
Makes you pucker.
It's mental. I think Scarenzi also had a good sector 2, but not enough there. All of them getting closer. We now have the top 3 separated by 0.4 of a second. 0.2 between first and second and third. And 5 minutes left, so they'll have time to go in pit. Put one more set of tires on and go back out to qualify.
Scarenzi, one of those drivers, I mean, one of the most infamous drivers in Midwest Formula One history, one of the most winningest drivers in the league as well. Mackie Marquis blowing his initial time away with 127.7 right now, just increasing the gap on race day, making him push a bit harder. Scarenzi, notoriously a wonderful driver from a bit back in the grid, anywhere from 6th place up to 3rd. Scarenzi can still be a threat on the long haul of the race, but he is especially dangerous on street circuits with these tight cornering, So definitely keep an eye on Scarenzi. He may be starting 3rd behind 2 absolute monsters right now. But Scarenzi, definitely one of those drivers that will bide his time and strike when the moment is right, especially if inclement weather, especially if it is a street track. We have a few drivers who are calling it a session. That is Mackie's partner in the Williams garage, Nicky, calling it a day for right now. We will see him back on the grid momentarily. And it looked like Mackie had a connection issue, but we're all good. Hopefully we don't see anything like that during the race. Just under 4 minutes to go in qualifying. Scarenzi with Sharia with 107 through sector 2. Looking to improve that 130 time through sector 3 now, coming on to the straight. Will he be able to best it? 5 seconds to go. Mackie Marquis calling it a day, saying 127 is going to work for the rest of the session. And Sharia heading into the pits there instead of completing that lap. So it's the Plums who's setting a rather slow initial lap. That may have been his outline. Not sure. Mitch is jumping. He'd be jumping.
Trying to find someone doing something interesting on the track, and I think the Plums is the man. We had the Haas going back into the garage. Plums out on potentially his final qualifying lap, unless he goes for one more after this. Final Flame retiring from the session, so he currently in 3rd, took that spot from Scarenzi, who I'm sure will have something to say in his final attempt around the track.
Oh, only 8 hundredths off of the pace? Yeah. Scarenzi is definitely going to have something to say there. He's in the pits now. We'll likely see him head out for his out lap, hopefully in the next few seconds. This is roughly a 1 minute 30 track, so we should be seeing any drivers looking to set their final lap here pretty soon. Race day still on an out lap, although he's been on an out lap for a while, so I'm not sure. He may just be stopped trackside somewhere.
Looks like both McLarens are going down the start of sector 3 together, so I'm thinking that Reimer and Race Day might be helping each other out here. We'll jump to them the second that we see the Plums cross the line, see if he improves his time from a 129.8 up to a 129.5, so jumps over his teammate Callie Robb, who is on his out lap, up to Race Day, who is now in front of his teammate. So it looks like no towing going to happen on this final one.
Interesting.
He's got to make up 0.6 of a second from Mackie Marquis, who just throws down a monster time. That might be one of the biggest gaps that we've seen between first and second this late into a qualifying session.
Yeah, that was an absolute statement. DRS is open, the first of 3 for race day as he heads down the straight on sector 1. Coming up on the time, it's a 26-second lap. He is just under his initial time, able to gain 1/10 on his previous lap. But that did not look like the cleanest exit of a corner, so we'll see how that affects sector 2. Sui also bowing out for Aston Martin back in 16th, calling it a day a bit early. Race day pushing it through sector 2, a bit slow through there, activates DRS. And he is still under 2/10 under his fastest time. Will it be enough? Can he find something special here in sector 3? Grab that DRS boost, hit these corners perfectly, and somehow, some way, pull out a 127.6. What he's going to need to best the Williams. It's a 128. He is not going to do it. Across the line goes the McLaren, and second place is his. It is Mackie Marquis, race day, Final Flame, and Scarenzi for our front 2 on the grid here in Singapore. Only 4 races to go in the season. These drivers clawing for every point that they can get their hands on. This is going to be a very, very exciting race, I can already tell.
Yeah, GSR Edwin's going fast too. He's going to jump up into 5th over Gott Palmer, who will be the next big driver to come around the track. It looks like Callie Robb also making up some time up into 7th. Gott Palmer and Scarenzi. So the last few drivers here that can take a shot at that front row, and Gott Palmer's going to come around up into 3rd, 128. Scarenzi. I thought that was the final corner. Scarenzi up into 4th.
Wow. Look at this. Okay, so I did call it too early.
Ooh, and Scarenzi by 1/100th of a second.
Oh,
it's like 11 thousandths of a second. Very close. And then race day, 0.2 of a second ahead of Gott Palmer, and Mackie Marquis 3.5 tenths over race day. Just with 6 minutes left in qualifying, sets that lap and says, you know what, I think that's good.
With a slight amendment to my initial grid status, Gott Palmer takes the place of Final Flame AK in that top 4. Final Flame going to be starting from 5th. Still very viable for a potential podium spot, if not a first place finish for the replacement driver in the Haas. There you have it. Mackie Marquis starting atop the grid once again from pole. It's the Williams here in Singapore. It is week... What week is it?
12.
It's week 12, season 12, MidWest eSports, Division 1, Formula 1, Division 1 on Nick and Mitch. Hopefully the intro is a bit smoother than this outro. We'll see in just a second from the Formation Lab. The air crackles with anticipation as we head once again to the dazzling neon-soaked streets of Singapore. We're under the electrifying lights at Marina Bay Street Circuit with only 4 weeks remaining in the season. And as we near the end, the tension on track is thick. Just a 2.07 mile jaunt along the Al Raha Creek here, but it's a mix of everything. 3 monstrous DRS zones are going to offer some nice chances to unleash these machines as unforgiving walls line the track like silent judges. Precision is the name of the game. Walled in with nowhere to run, the drivers are ready to push their machines to the absolute limit in this waterfront war room. But before we do the dance, let's recap the season so far. Mitch, are all those fancy graphics up to date?
They are, and after last week's race where we had Final Flame in the Haas taking home the victory, GSR Edwin and Mercedes in second, and Scorenzi and the Aston Martin in third, we're taking a look at the Constructors' Championship, where throughout the season, Alpine has been on top with Aston Martin and Williams battling for second and third, but lots of movement from Ferrari, Mercedes, and McLaren. Right now, Alpine sits in first, Aston Martin's almost 100 points behind them, and then Ferrari, Williams, Mercedes, and McLaren closing in. For the Drivers' Championship, it is very close on top. Got Palmer sitting at 575 points, Scorenzi at 565, and Mackie Marquis, who missed last week, now 476, almost 90 points behind, but the rest of it is fairly close. So there are still lots of battles left and lots of positions up for grabs in these final 4 races.
We are not done yet. Rain, stay away from Singapore. This is Midwest Esports Formula One Division 1 on Nick and Mitch. And we are underway with the formation lap as drivers get some heat into the tires before the Singapore Grand Prix. We have had a weather statement given to us up here in the booth. And it does look like there will be some weather throughout the race. When that is expected, we do not know. So we will be discovering that along with you from home. That these drivers are going to be trying to stay on these slicks as long as humanly possible before they have to switch over to those grooved, water displacing, inclement weather rain tires. We have a couple of disqualifications in the formation lap from our front runners, Mackie and Race Day, both in a bit of trouble here through the formation lap. I wonder if someone brake checked or what happened. But both of them DQ'd pretty early on. They will just be reset to the grid, won't be able to place themselves in their little stall. But there you saw the tire strategy, and it did look like they were calling for hard to medium, possibly a 2-stopper, 2 mediums, and a hard, but no talk there of rain in the forecast. So again, we'll just have to see how this all plays out. Who knows? It may stay dry tonight. It may surprise everyone. It may just rain enough. The slicks may be able to stay on, but the track may be a bit difficult. So we'll have to see. A lot at play here in Singapore.
I think it is going to open up halfway through. We'll find out, though. That'll make very interesting if people try to stay out. Let's take a look at what tires everyone opted for. Everyone going on mediums or hards, which makes sense because they will be trying to sense out how long they can go before it rains. Trying to time that perfectly because you don't want to go on hard. I mean, you go on hards, you have a lot of time to wait until you switch to rain tires. But if it rains early, then you're kind of wasted being on a slower tire. So we have got Palmer in third on the hard, Race Day second in hard, Mackie Marquis in first on the medium. So he's going to look for that jump off the line.
Yeah, that is very typical of Mackie. Run the softer tire up front, and it's worked for him up until this point. He's able to just get the jump on the pack and build that lead early on. We'll see if he can do it again here today, as we are just, not sure what happened there, but it is lights out for week 12 of season 12, Formula One Division 1 here, Midwest Esports on Nick and Mitch. It's Mackie Marquis on the outside line. Race Day going to try to squeeze him on the inside, unable to, as the Williams holds it through 3. We have a spun AlphaTauri as Chuck Blazin rewrites himself. Him and Gunner both in the back of the pack. A bit of a spin, little pirouette there in Sector 1 is still Mackey atop the pack, followed very closely by Race Day. Race Day trying to make a move on the outside, takes the inside and gets by the Williams with a bit of contact. McLaren goes wide and relinquishes the position once again, but they both allow the Alpine of Gott Palmer through. Now, Final Flame is joining this mix, trying to make some moves. He gets by Race Day up into third place. It is now the Alpine, followed by a Williams, a Haas, and a McLaren. We have done a complete round of musical chairs here in the front of the grid. And there are plenty of position changes throughout as well. We just saw Nicky and Reimer going at it. And Nicky now trying to catch up to the Plums in the Ferrari. This is an absolute showdown here in Singapore, and it's just lap 1.
Ooh, there were lots of moments to pucker in the start of that race. We had the collision in turn 1 with Chuck Blazin, Gunner, and then a little bit of a bump between Race Day and Mackey as they went for the lead, which allowed Gott Palmer and Final Flame to get up in the first and second for a moment. Mackey reclaiming second, and we are now starting lap 2, so we see gaps. Crazy to see where some of them were looking to go around and get to 3 wide at some parts of the track.
Yeah, Final Flame saw the opportunity to go 3 wide with the McLaren and the Williams, took it and was able to get by at least one of them. But that move from Race Day, taking the inside line, trying to sneak past Mackie Marquis, and then potentially having a bit of contact on the front nose of the Williams. We'll have to see if that affects either car, but right now it looks clean. It looks like they are all well and good. Race Day did the proper thing and yielded, went off of the track to prevent any further collision there. So a very, very explosive start to this race, and here we see the tire strategies changing for a couple of drivers. We're seeing some soft tires now working into the mix, but again, if rain is in the forecast, which it is, we may not see a soft compound here, but who knows? Maybe safety car is the perfect time to dip in, throw those softs on right before the rain. If someone plays that card, it may be the right one. Mackie Marquis on the outside gets past Gott Palmer. He is just a car's length ahead as they go through to the final straight of lap 2. They are going to hit another DRS zone soon, and Gott Palmer will have another chance at the lead. Final Flame also not far behind. These 3, I have a feeling, are going to pull away pretty quickly.
We'll see if Race Day is able to hang on. That will allow him and Scarenzi to stay in this battle. And for now, Edwin and the Plums. Very tight through these first couple of laps here around Singapore. I'm also wondering now if that predicted tire strategy from the AWS is based on the driver and their setup, or their like chosen compounds and their chosen strategies before the race. I know you can set I think 2 different strategies and then decide which one you want to go with.
Yeah,
I think we're getting a look at that.
I think we learned that like last week or so. Oh, maybe this is by driver and not just generally. Do want to point out Dusty Lusky is now up into 9th as he got by Reimer in the other McLaren not too long ago. So both Haas are well within the points, up in the top 10 now. We'll see how the second replacement driver fares throughout the rest of this race. He has a bit of a wall to chip away at before he can see anything of that Williams up in 8th. But we are still close here. Mackie Marquis starting to pull away ever so slightly. He's now out of DRS. Gott Palmer not able to activate. Mackie goes fastest, and Final Flame definitely has the DRS. He is going to try past the Alpine through the inside of turn 1. Gott Palmer able to hold it through to Final Flame is going to get him down to the basin here as we head into the next sector. Final Flame now up into second place. Persistence right there. Persistence, precision, and patience. The 3 Ps that are propelling that person forward.
Tried to squeak that one in there at the very end. Scarenzi's having a great watch of what's going on at Race Day. wiggling a little bit. That's going to let Scarenzi on through, but not by much. Looks like Race Day's coming just back on the outside.
Race Day just throwing that thing all around here in Singapore, using every inch of the track that he has. But yeah, really playing it defensive against Scarenzi. We'll see. Scarenzi may be able to use that to his advantage and kind of force. Oh, we have Reimer, the other McLaren. We have a safety car deployed. Reimer, something is wrong with the other McLaren. Stopped on track, causing a huge gate there. Luckily, was cleared in time, but that was catastrophic. That would have been a red flag if it wasn't for the Toadies.
It's going to be interesting to see if anyone's going to pit. I imagine medium tire drivers are going to go in for the hards, try and ride those out for the very end, but don't know. I don't think we have a good prediction on what the weather's going to happen. So some of them might gamble. It looks like Mackey got Palmer, Scarenzi.
It's so difficult, isn't it, too, because of the dark sky. There are no clouds, no sun that we can tell. Oh, it's getting a little darker. it's the middle of the night.
Now, we got some good insight last week from one of the racers that the pit crew, your race engineer, you can ask for a weather update and they will tell you like light rain, medium rain, heavy rain in a number of laps. And it's for the game, it's pretty accurate on like the number of laps. It's if 4 laps is going to take 8 minutes, but then you have a safety car that drags that out to 16 minutes, it's still going to be 4 laps from now, is what he was saying. So these drivers probably have an idea. Interesting that Got Palmer went from, and Mackie Marquis looks like went from hard to mediums. Which makes me think that the rain.
Mackey just put on a new set of mediums.
Okay.
So that might be, so he's foregoing the hards. He's saying, I'm going to throw on a new set of mediums, ride these until it's time for rain tires, and boom, there's my second switch. Because at that point, once the rain is, on track, you no longer need to swap tires. The requirement for 2 tire compounds is null and void. You just switch to the intermediates or the wets, and that's it.
Based on that choice, I'm wondering if they think the rain's going to come long enough. Well, it looks like almost everyone pitted now.
Yeah, it was a decent chunk of the grid.
I was wondering if they were hoping that
well,
the people who started on hards would have to pit later on.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see. We've got another 1, maybe 2 laps under safety car, and then we'll continue. So I'm thinking that the rain's going to come. No one went on soft tires. It must be another 8 to 10 laps at least.
Yeah.
Might even be a little longer than that.
Yeah, it seems like the medium tire runners right now are taking the calculated gamble. But the hard tires, are you maximizing the life of those tires, or are you just playing it safe so you know that you'll make it to the rain? I don't think there's any doubt in the mind of Mackey, Got Palmer, Final Flame, Callie Robb that they can hold those medium tires until the rain hits. It just, they might not be able to push as hard as the rest of the pack due to tire management restrictions. Rain near the very end of the race possibly is coming from who we believe is the DNF driver, Reimer. Is that a papaya in chat? I know your logo here, your profile picture is purple. But if you didn't finish the race, there's no chance that you will get fastest lap. So a purple A is counterintuitive.
What?
Huh?
Nothing. So very end of the race possibly means that these drivers are going to be treating this mostly like a normal race. And then putting tires. That makes more sense with the medium to medium because they'll put on a set of hard tires and then hopefully ride those through to the end of the race.
Safety car in this lap. All of the pieces of the McLaren have been collected, inventoried, and sent back to for a
I missed you.
What did I miss?
Oh, I don't know. Sounded like you kind of faded away with the internet a little bit.
Yeah, you know, it happens. We're monitoring. We're also in real time. We're monitoring a storm here on the East Coast. Baltimore may receive some weather before the end of this race. So if I just like crackle out and leave the race, you know why. We are back underway here. The Singapore Grand Prix back under green. Final Flame leading the pack, followed by Race Day, God Palmer, and Scarenzi. We've already had some movement here in this restart, but most drivers playing it safe. Mackie Marquis getting past the Plums up into 7th. He's trying to get himself back to the podium. GSR Edwin besting Chuck Blazin there for 5th. A couple of moves before DRS has been activated. Mackie Marquis taking the inside line on Chuck Blazin. We just saw from the helicopter. He is now up into 6th. Mackie Marquis capitalizing on these short intervals as the pack is so compressed. Before they peel away, he needs to claw as high up through this grid as possible, especially on those grippy medium tires. Mackie is throwing that thing around like Race Day was just a few laps ago. We're now on board with Gott Palmer, and just look at this front wall. We have 4 or 5 drivers all in a line. They are holding that strong until DRS is activated, and then it's just going to turn into silly season. Final Flame and Race Day have some collision there. Gott Palmer gets up. Race Day falls down. And Final Flame had some issues as well. Race Day just squirreling all around in Singapore once again. He's now back up into 2nd place. What just happened? Race Day painting some abstract lines here in Singapore.
Looked like the cars bumped into each other and Race Day lost his grip. I am very impressed in his skill of keeping that car going forward. And at this point now, not losing position, still in 2nd, because it looked like he was going to spin out completely, but was able to catch the car, temporarily lose some spots, and then gain them right back in the next corner as everyone slowed down to brace for that accident. And we have Scarenzi and Mackie Marquis going toe-to-toe for 3 corners in a row. Thought they were going to make it 4. They are so close.
You can tell that this is a good race because I just got a text from my fiance. Like, you are like screaming in there. Are you okay? And I was like, are you watching this race? The answer is no. Clearly, Race Day trying it again on the inside line, unable to get past the Haas. Final Flame plays strong defense. He knows the tricks of the McLaren. Race Day trying it once again, not able to make it happen. We'll see what other tricks
and Gott Palmer's trying to get through there.
Gott Palmer taking a page out of Race Day's book, taking the inside line, and just kind of, excuse me, gonna get through here. Up in the 2nd.
And these top 5, top 6 drivers are not afraid to try and go for position in all of these corners. Race Day, almost every corner was sticking his nose into Final Flame's side pod to see if he could get some room. It's a very risky way to drive around this track, but he really wants that 1st place.
Yeah, this is a clenched teeth fight right now. We have a caution in Sector 2. Chuck Blazin looks like he is out of this race. The Alpine in tatters off the side of the track. That is going to pull the 2nd safety car of the evening as they clear the Alpine from track. Final Flame leads in lap 9 of 31 here. Wow. Only 9 laps.
Well, this one is tough. He was missing a lot of the front of that car. I wish we got a better look at it. Now it's interesting to see who's going in. It looks like Final Flame didn't pit the first time. Neither did Race Day. I imagine they'll both go in 4 tire. Everyone else on 4 tires. That one's going to be a bit trickier. It's too long of a race to stick out on those hard tires unless you truly believe it's going to rain in about 12 to 15 laps. And then maybe you put on one more fresh pair.
Do you see anyone going for the softs? Screw it. Let's send it. I mean, at the pace we're running, we're likely to see another safety car in a couple of laps, so.
I don't think so, only because if you put on softs, you're still going to have to stop again. You're not going to, I don't think you're going to gain that much. Unless you do a soft and then like you're predicting a good time to switch to hard.
Sure.
Race Day did though. No, it was his first pit. I was about to say, if it's your first pit stop, maybe, because most drivers have taken a pit stop already. So for him, he could put on the soft tires, and those will last about as long as everyone else on their 5th lap of their tires. And then they'll all be pitting again for hards or mediums until maybe it rains. It is interesting for him, though, because he is so far behind. Now he's going to be out in 12th. A lot of drivers to work through, especially if they'll have to pit again.
Bold move, Cotton.
We'll see if it pays off.
Thank you.
Hasn't been the season for him yet for that.
No.
I think it was 7th. Yeah, 7th in the Drivers' Championship. By, actually, 5th, 6th, and 7th are separated by 4 points, so could be up in 5th, but compared to last year where he was just running the table in the Ferrari, struggled to like really find consistent podiums. I'm not sure. Hasn't gotten a win yet this season.
No, I mean, it did seem like last season somewhat that the wheels, no pun intended, started to fall off in the last few races for race day. We had a couple of unfortunate snaps. We had a disconnection issue. And all of those, you know, he had wonderful placement through the race, and then something catastrophic happens and just completely torches the whole thing. So, you know, barring a bit of oversteer, some, you know, weird braking here tonight, sending it a little too hard through some corners into his teammates, into his race mates. Yeah, I don't know. He really needs to clean it up, and he does have the speed. I mean, we see it in qualifying. So what is happening here? Is it the McLaren? Is he just unable to get the car set up how he wants it to be? I'm not exactly sure what the key is there for race day, but a lot of potential being left in the paddock, if you had to ask me. That was harsh.
Yeah, I was checking where they were in the.
It was a real critique.
Constructors too in 6th, but battling Mercedes for 5th. Mercedes only has one driver in this race tonight, Edwin. So for now, McLaren has a chance to take back 5th in the Constructors' Cup. They're pretty far back on 4th.
Seems
such
like
a wild spread in the Constructors' Cup this year.
It seems like Mercedes has been running a single car for vast majority of the races this season. I could be wrong, but I feel like it's either one or the other. Very rarely do we see both arrows out on track at once. I don't know. Might just be me.
I think they have some races like that, and then a lot of times they finish in like the 5 through 10 because they're sitting in 5th. Very much like Red Bull did last season. But they were just always in that like 5th through 10th through 12th spot. Both drivers very close to each other. Consistently getting some good points.
Consistently mid. Safety car is in this lap, and we have another regrouping of the pack to look forward to as we restart the Singapore Grand Prix. Shout out, of course, shout out Reimer. Another McLaren, another papaya in the chat on the track, you know. I don't have, this is the one time that I don't have a McLaren hat on for the race. But, you know.
Was trying to figure out if he subscribed or not, because if not, and you hit subscribe, it will pop up during the race in the middle with a radio thing. But if you already have it, that's okay too.
Unsubscribe and refresh and resubscribe. Make that thing make the sound.
I don't think it works like that, but who
No,
knows?
it doesn't. I know. But I do know for sure that we are back underway racing. It's Scott Palmer, followed by Mackie Marquis into lap 12 of 31 here in Singapore. Scott Palmer trying to gain some distance. Mackie Marquis not letting it happen. Still within 110.
I do want to check in on race day. I think he already jumped over Gunnar Addy, and now he just has a slew of drivers on hard tires in front of him. So he's going to not waste time. He has Final Flame and Sui in front of him. Several drivers to get back up to the top. I think we'll get DRS after this lap, so we'll see what he can do. But he wasn't afraid to get his nose into Mackie Marquis for the lead of the race. So I'm sure now that he's back in 11th, he will be going for it. And look at that move. And Final Flame almost oversteering.
Yeah, Coach Bob, executive producer Bob in the chat saying elbows out, big elbows out. Yeah, race day is fighting like he's 3 cars wide right now, just plowing his way through the grid. And as you saw there, taking some very, very dangerous moves, some big chances here. As we see a car go wide through the chicane there. Looks like it might have been Gunnar as he gets a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings for presumably for track limits. Final Flame getting the best of Swedes up into 9th now. Race day now in 11th. Coming up on Sui as well. Race day and Final Flame. Those two could help one another to try and get them back up to the podium. Doubt they will form an alliance there in the middle of the pack, but who knows? I've seen crazier things in the league. On Sui goes race day on the outside line. It is not enough. He'll try the switchback. Will he be able to outbrake? And he does. Late braking from the McLaren. Does it past the Aston Martin up into 10th place. Those soft tires paying off so far as Final Flame is in the crosshairs. Just over half a second from race day, but he is shaving that away. This McLaren has speed. Can he get the double overtake? Trying it once again on the inside line. Bit of a contact from the Haas on the Williams of Nicky, but that is all well and good. Final Flame and race day both pressuring Nicky. Get out the way, son. The Haas trying to get those elbows out as well as he pushes his way through some tight cornering. Look at these three absolutely going after it. Final Flame trying an aggressive overtake once again. DRS enabled. A bit of a snap from Final Flame. Nicky able to defend the line, but it's race day who gets him by just a front wing through the inside of the final turn. Across the line they go into lap 14. DRS activated for most of them, but it is race day who is skeetering away from the middle of the pack. That McLaren is on rails.
I think that soft tire was a decent choice, at least to get past all of these drivers, because there was so much movement, so many late breaks and lunges that he had to pull off to get through that chaos. And now he's a second and a half behind Sharia Coleslaw. And wow, I mean, props to Nicky too for defending.
That was awesome.
And holding his spot. I know when I'm in situations like that and I know those fast drivers are behind me, I tend to just let them go. I am terrified of making a mistake or bumping someone. Just, you know what, you guys go on ahead. I'll keep my pace. But he put up quite a good fight.
And you can tell Final Flame was waiting for that yield as well, as you saw both drivers, Race Day and Final Flame, snapping their oversteer to try and recorrect as like, oh crap, he's not moving. I really have to push against the wall to just preserve my race. Here we go, Race Day once again, cutting through the
car.
Check.
And we got Nick back.
Sorry, I lost it right at the overtake. I was like, and screen's frozen.
Well, did you see, unfortunately,
No.
Final Flame? We saw a piece of front wing fly off, and Final Flame had to go into the pits.
No.
Yeah.
No. Say it ain't so. Oh, that is awful for the Haas. Unfortunate, but he does have the pace. Don't know if he'll be in contention for a win anymore, but he may still be able to make some money moves through the pack. We'll have to keep an eye on the Haas. Sorry to see that from Final
and race
Flame.
day.
Look at this.
I think went for a move and last minute had to brake to avoid collision. Almost slid out again. That's the second time tonight I've seen him lose the car. Maybe third time lose the car and then catch it back.
Yeah,
so impressive on this track, especially when there's no runoff.
I was going to say 3 or 4 times at least. And yeah, the fact that he did not, give up any positioning doing that as well. Trying that inside line on Dusty, but Dusty knew the trick and closed the door before Race Day was able to step through the threshold and really just forced him to jump onto the outside to prevent collision. That was a wonderful defensive move from the Haas driver. I'm sure we will be seeing more of that because clearly he knows how Race Day is trying to get past him. And speaking of getting past, Mackie Marquis able to get past Scott Palmer there for the lead. Getting back into the lead of the race he started in. That wasn't proper grammar, but we're running with it. Nicky in the other Williams is getting by the Red Bull in the middle of the pack. He's now looking at Race Day as his next victim. Final Flame AK getting a brutal 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Final Flame now reading as a DNF on the race. The Haas may not be returning to this race after a wonderful start. He may not be able to get through anymore.
I'm curious to see what happened because we got a caution flag. He started to move in the pit lane. Like I saw the white dot move and then stop.
Did he see the 5-second penalty and just rage quit?
Maybe.
He
did get a speeding in pit lane.
He may have just taken himself out at that point with a 5-second, at the back of the pack. I can't blame him. I would have probably done the same thing. Someone chips your wing off, forces you out of your competition. Then you get a penalty.
I had someone yesterday in a multi-class I race that was a 30-minute race, and after the first lap collision, he had 43 minutes of repair time in the pits, and was like, well,
whoa,
that's it.
Yeah. Well, Race Day got past Dusty for 6th, but Dusty getting back into the position. So this race definitely heating up. Race Day has DRS. He's going to try it again. Gets past the Haas through the strip. Will Dusty be able to hang on? He will, losing time slowly, but as expected, as the driver in front of him has DRS. Dusty looking pretty clean through these corners, but Nicky not far behind as well. May try something here in Sector 2 on the Haas.
Now, am I seeing little drip drops of rain, or is my screen tearing as we go around these corners? I feel like I see just faint sprinkles, unless George Russell's standing high above this track.
I'm watching your Parsec stream on about a third of my screen, which is an old TV. So I will take your word for it if you're saying that you're seeing a bit of rain.
Looks like it is starting to sprinkle.
Unless it's a downpour, I'm not going to be able to participate in that conversation.
Yeah, and downpour is really when you'll be switching tires. But it does look like rain is coming at this race in some point. If we look at the tires, almost everyone 13 laps on their current set. Some on medium, some on hard. Race Day 8 laps on the soft. Those soft and medium tires are getting close to the end of their lifespan. The hard tires may have a few left to go, but that's where right now it's starting to come down a little harder.
All right, so rain is the next chapter of the Season 12 Singapore Grand Prix as Travis Scott gets by Shreya for 9th place. Rain will be in the mix. There you go. I'm starting to see a bit of rain there, a bit of action on track. But as we were told last week, a lot of these drivers going to stay out until you start seeing the actual asphalt itself become visibly wet. Here we have, I love whenever the telemetry is up on screen. It's always fun to watch them through a couple of corners. See what they're doing. See how Mackie is running his lap.
And get a good look at their brake trace and gas trace as well.
Yeah.
On the left and the right.
It's always good to watch the pros and then do absolutely nothing similar whenever I jump back in the game. Oh, I saw Mackie did this in this corner, and I spun, crashed, whatever.
And something that we could have been using all this time, because now I'm very curious to, compare some corners between guys like Mackie and Scarenzi. We saw Mackie just ever so slightly tapping the brake going into the final corner. Some drivers might just lift.
Yeah. Would it make you feel any better if I lied to you and told you that they just installed this in last week's update?
Oh, thank you.
Mitch, this is brand new. This is the first F1 stream ever to feature this. So
I feel better now.
Yeah, no, we do, that's what we do here at Nick and Mitch. We are innovators.
I know we see it sometimes when we go on the onboard, we can see at least the revs and see when they're starting to spin a bit in the rain. The driver last week also saying that they'll wait until you actually see spray and like the rooster tail coming up from cars until they'll go into the pits.
It wasn't the visible on track, it was the spray. Yeah, thank you. I knew it was one of the two. There was some indicator in the game when it was time to switch to tires.
It's going to be tricky for some of these guys on those almost dead tires.
Yep.
They won't do well, and especially if there's just a little bit of rain on the track. But if you go in too early and put on those wet tires or in inters, you're going to also lose a lot of time until the rain fully kicks in and soaks that track through.
Right. So, yeah, you really need to play it smart. You can sacrifice maybe a lap, maybe two if you're a front runner. Stopping early, putting on those inters or the wets, a lap or two before everybody else feels the need to go in. That may be a huge slingshot for someone like Dusty Lusky, like Race Day, who is now in the pits with the soft tires. We're going to see what Travis Scott and Race Day are going to be the first two to set the bar, and there it goes. Inters on the McLaren. He's reading. And it is getting harder. Every single lap this race, this rain does seem to be getting a little harder. So, like we just said, we may see this McLaren jump up a few spots once everybody else yields to the Inter tire. But tricky move, because if it's, 4 or 5 laps, he is really chomping through those and will still be at a disadvantage even if he gains a few positions through pit passing.
If Mackie Marquis stays out for this next lap, we'll get a good idea on that time comparison, because we can check his lap time, check Race Day's lap time once he completes a full lap, and see what the difference between the two is. I'm imagining right now that the mediums are still doing all right. Mackie is going to stay out one more time. So throw this up. Looks like he just set a 136. So might be getting a little bit. But Race Day still on his out lap, so that one's not going to tell us much yet. But we'll see him in the next one when they finish. You can see Mackie Marquis, though, already 4 seconds over his fastest lap on these tires.
Laps to go here in Singapore. It's week 12 of season 12. MidWest eSports, Formula One, Division 1, right here on Nick and Mitch. Very happy to be here with you. Thank you to Commissioner Porkchops and everyone else at MidWest for giving us the honor of calling these races. It's an absolute highlight on the week. Even if we're tired and exhausted and pulling from the bottom of the barrel, running on fumes here, it is always fun. Callie Robb heading into the pits as well in the Ferrari, presumably to make that tire switch as well.
Not many yet, which is Very interesting.
Wow, onto mediums goes Callie Robb.
Okay.
He's not done yet.
Interesting call, yeah.
Be very interesting to see, maybe this race could be finished on slicks, and that could have been a critical move, critical failure from race day Travis Scott's jumping early and, reading the wrong forecast, but it does still look like it is coming down pretty consistently.
Yeah, I mean, we've probably all made that mistake before, just getting a little too scared by the chance of that rain and putting on some tires. Mackie going 1:38, so I think that's another second on top of his time, but we'll check race day. Probably the fastest driver out there on the inters, and he's coming down the final straight, so we'll see how close he is to that 1:38. And I don't know how much the other drivers on the track can tell, but that would be something I would be looking for, is seeing how these first two drivers do out there.
Look at this, across the final corner, across the line. It's a 1:38. It's a 1:38, closer to a 1:39, but still, he's a second off pace of the pole sitter. Yeah. So we
just reaching that crossover time.
Maybe seeing a couple more drivers switching to inters here. The proof's in the pudding. That McLaren is on pace with the front runner right now. Mackie is still losing time on the lap. So
now we can also check. I want to check Callie Robb's time.
Yeah, that was 4 seconds. Oh,
on Callie's final lap, because Mackie is out there on ancient tires, 17s on mediums. So maybe Callie Robb, who's just on his first lap on mediums, that might be better.
Sure.
And he's maybe a second or two off pace of Mackie, lap to lap. So if it's anything better than that, I would say. I would expect him to be at maybe a 1. Well, I guess the tires rolled too. Hard to tell. We'll see in about 30 seconds. Mackie is going into the pits. Scott Palmer into the pits as well. Scarenzi staying out there. We're getting a caution flag. Is that going to be a safety car? Easy there, Callie Robb. I don't know if we might still get a good lap time out of him.
Plums is in the pits. It looked like it might have been something with Houdini there. It may have just been an overtake by race day. No caution flag just yet. Mackie going on soft tires. Not done just yet with the slicks. In goes the other Ferrari, the Plums, heading on to inters.
Callie Robb going to 137, and he did have just maybe a half second he had to slow down for that crash. So those slicks not bad yet.
Not at all. And, Mackie still sees something in them as he heads out on the soft compound.
Race day hitting 139 on the last lap.
Travis Scott's also heading out on a soft compound now. He previously was on the inter and decided against it. He's gone back to the slicks.
It's pretty equal, and unfortunately that means race day stuck on these tires, because if he hits again, he's not finishing in the top 10, I would imagine.
Yeah, he missed the full sail change. It's not going to happen.
And that's where the going out on softs works to get past, but then he had to pit. He had to be one of the first to pit because he was on those softs, and didn't quite have enough time to make that fully informed decision.
That McLaren did not look confident through sector 2.
Well,
he was sliding all over the place. Mackie and Scarenzi both on softs. Sorry, Mitch.
No, yeah, the inter tires get squirrely on the racing line if it's still dry. When the track is drying out, like after a big downpour, you oftentimes have to get off the racing line and drive in the still damp parts of the track to use those tires. So I think that driving line's just staying, nice enough that everyone's on slicks, and the inters now are really struggling to keep the car steady.
Yeah, look how many soft compound tires are heading out onto track for the final few laps. It is time to punch it. Someone needs to go on wets just for shits, so we have one of every tire compound on the track at once. Scarenzi with a bit of a slide there on those brand new softs in his outlap. Yeah, the track is cooling because there is some water, so do need to get some heat, some grip into those soft tires, but nothing a quick outlap can't help with, especially when you have a bit of an interval like Scarenzi does. DRS on Dusty Lusky is going to help him get some heat onto the inside of those tires. Down the stretch goes Scarenzi through the inside line. He's going to get back up into 4th place. Up next is a very healthy interval to Gott Palmer, who, again, on those intra tires, does he make a change? He kind of is cemented into them at this point. But will Scarenzi be able to lessen that gap, which is now up to 8 seconds, to catch a podium spot?
So I think
6 laps remain.
Scarenzi, as long as the weather stays good enough for the slick tires, he can get past Gott Palmer. Edwin's on 20-lap hard tires. With 6 laps to go, he could stretch them.
He could.
That's it. I don't think he's gonna win at that point because Mackie Marquis is just 2.5 seconds behind.
Never say never. Never say never.
I'm cheering for it.
I'm here for the lone Mercedes just running an Iron Man out here. Yeah, it does look like Mackie has already gained about a half second on him in under a lap, so he may be under heat here fairly soon, but what a valiant effort from the Mercedes. You love to see it. Hopefully he's going to defend like a madman as Mackie Marquis now just about half a second to the race leader. Caution flag in sector 2. Don't see any cars dropping positions, so
looks like Gunner, but I think he's okay.
Yeah.
Mackie's in front. We missed it.
There he goes. Oh no, we saw it. It was on screen, I believe.
Edwin, after he got past him, he just jumped back. Looked a little squirrely in that corner, so I don't know if he's going to stay on those tires. I mean, if he goes in, well, he's staying out.
All right, there's that.
I mean, if he goes in now and comes back out, he's probably around race day.
Yeah.
But he is also 8 seconds over 3rd with 5 laps to go. So, I mean, you got a second and change.
And Gott Palmer is on inters.
Oh, I think I just heard him slide again, though.
Yeah, I saw that slide.
Let's look at our new favorite, see how the how the gas and the revs are doing when he starts sliding.
See how he's faring here. Pull on through there, of course. Early seems still has pace, but definitely a little more tender through these corners. You can tell he's not really running the edges through, trying to keep that car sort of leveled.
We got Palmer down to 6 seconds, or closing the gap to 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That one was rough. It's a mix of everything, isn't it? It's just the tires, the track surface, the track itself.
A lot of things going on. It's not just driving around the track 31 times.
The Ferraris on the hunt for that McLaren of race day. Callie Robb is under half a second, but race day still able to hold out in 6th place. He has a mountain to climb to get to Dusty Lusky, so he is paying attention to both of these stallions behind him here. What do they call the horses at Ferrari? The horses?
I think you just offended a lot of people by saying
that. Sorry.
I'm not sure.
I'm not Tifosi.
I'm not going to try.
Yeah, that's fair. The ponies? Is it? I think I've heard ponies before. I don't know. Whatever they are galloping up on this McLaren. Callie Robb still holding about 4/10 back. Under DRS, though, we may see a different story. Race day on the Inters, Callie Robb, I believe, went back to softs, but I'm not sure. We'll see when we get back to that action. It's Scarenzi. Callie Robb gets by race day under DRS up into 6th place. McLaren now sandwiched by both Ferraris.
It's the prancing horse.
The prancing horse.
The little prancing horse.
He is. It is kind of prancing on the logo. All right.
They have the name in Italian. I'm not going to try it because I feel like that would be bad. Safety car with 4 laps to go. Dude.
Generaldi's heading into the pits. Sharia Coleslaw very slow right now.
Well, Houdini, I think, just DNF.
Oh, it is Houdini. Yeah. Oh, man. Well,
are we going to get a 1-lap shootout?
We may get a 1-lap shootout for the end of this race. And GSR
With
Edwin is on
closed.
22-lap tires right now. Oh, my gosh.
Soft tires.
Look at this.
22-lap hard tires, Inter tires, and then soft tires, and then hard tires.
This is insane. GSR Edwin heading into the pits, getting rid of those hard tires as he
so
should.
got Palmer and Scarenzi, all of them putting on soft tires for this battle. Mackie, the only one staying out, and it might be too late for him to come back in at this point.
I wish we had our face cams on this screen.
I know.
I have a silly grin right now. This so
race has
exciting.
Been good for that. That midfield battle we had too, where race day was trying to squeak through, my face was locked into a gnarly shape for a while.
Race day goes on mediums. Everyone getting away from those Inter tires. Race day, the only driver out there though to go medium and not soft. So we'll see how that fares. But wow, is this going to be a finish for the ages? We are still under safety car. Hopefully we will resume racing for the finish of the Singapore Grand Prix. No one wants to finish under safety car, but if they are unable to clear the track in time, that is how a race legally can end. So we will hold our breath and wait for that beautiful safety car in this lap message to pop up on screen. Mackie Marquis, GSR Edwin, Gott Palmer, and Scarenzi, all without penalties, all going to be very, very close to one another as GSR Edwin 16 seconds back from Mackie, but will catch up shortly, as will the other front runners.
We might get 2 laps out of it, which would be big because we would get DRS in the final lap. That I would stand up for. I would have to stand. I was about to say, I will raise my microphone, angle my screen. Yeah. My desk doesn't rise like yours.
I'm actually going to plug the desk in right now. We're
going to be walking around our room like stock traders.
You know what? I'm not even going to wait. Desk is coming up. Folks, if you're at home, get up. Get on your feet. This is the race right here.
Do I have I don't think I have a good layout that has our...
No, we would have to be down by like the F1 logo in the corner.
Cameras, yeah.
That's all right. I mean, that's something that we can prep for a later race. Sorry, I'm adjusting. We're adjusting here.
I could drag you up and put you there, but not sure how that would look.
No, and my the internet, the bandwidth whenever my camera is on is just like abysmal right now, so we're good. But
I was just seeing if mine was yeah, we do come through audio only. Unless it ended. Just curious. Oh, that's full screen.
Hi, Mitch. Hey, bud. How are you?
I'll put that back down. I can make those smaller for next time and in the corner like you suggested.
Yeah, we'll put it in the corner.
Safety car in this lap, so 2 laps to go. in this shootout,
folks.
Everyone on fresh softs in the front except for Mackie Marquis. The rain has stopped.
On your feet. Mackie Marquis laying chicken with, who are we on board with?
Edwin.
We're on board with GSR Edwin, but it really looks like McLaren yellow on the top there. Anyway.
Man, what a potential finish it could be for him after just holding those 4 hard tires together.
There goes, well, playing some chicken here with the rest of the grid. Mackie Marquis is off to the race. Literally, we have 2 laps to go in the Singapore Grand Prix. Race 12, season 12. Here we go. Division 1 action doesn't get any better than this. 2 laps before we crown a champion, and all of the cars are stacked up at the restart. GSR Edwin trying to hold on to Mackie. He does so, stays within half a second through the early bits of Sector 1. Mackie Marquis historically pulling away during these sections. GSR Edwin on those brand new tires says, I'm here. We're here to dance. You're not losing me this time. GSR Edwin actually gaining on Mackie Marquis. Can he do it without DRS assistance? He is closing in on Mackie, keeping this interval. DRS activation is going to be deadly. The Williams going to have to turn on that defensive brain right quick.
It's going to be a battle, and got Palmer Strenzi also in DRS, so they'll be closing the gap as well, looking for either of the front runners to make a little bit of a mistake so they can slip by.
This camera should not leave GSR Edwin's vehicle for the remainder of this race. Oh, this is what it's all about. Under a 10th now. GSR Edwin not able to do it there. Mackie closing the door, but he is so very close. Trying the outside line. Can GSR Edwin get past? He's trying. He's a nose ahead. The Mercedes takes the lead with 2 laps to go.
1 lap to go after this corner.
The final. Here he goes. GSR Edwin now reclaiming the lead, reclaiming the interval. Playing strong defense against Mackie there, cutting across the track, shutting off any lane opportunity that Williams may try to get through. GSR Edwin on a drive from the above, from the up high, from the heavens goes the Mercedes into Sector 2. Mackie Marquis actually losing time here. Now he has the interval of almost half a second on GSR Edwin. Something in that Mercedes clicked.
We're gonna have 1 DRS zone left at the start of Sector 3, and then the final sweeping corner, the finish line just at the exit of the corner, so there's not room really to overtake. You kind of got to get it done. You might see a side-by-side battle at that point. Mackie now slipping down 0.6 of a second. Strenzi also trying to take that 3rd place away from Gott Palmer.
Look at that stretch that GSR Edwin has been able to make. Can he get 1 second between him and Mackie before these DRS zones in Sector 3? GSR Edwin fighting with everything he has. We have a caution in Sector 3. It's race day falling quickly. Dusty Lusky also falling, but it will not warrant a safety car. GSR Edwin in Sector 3 of this race came out of absolutely nowhere and takes the checkered flag for Mercedes. The lone silver arrow takes the Singapore Grand Prix here in Season 12 of Midwest eSports Formula 1 Division 1. Who had that on their scorecard heading into today's race? GSR Edwin is your winner.
Well, I think he heard you talking and saying that Mercedes has been kind of in and out throughout this season, just having one driver or the other. He is now the champion of Singapore after a very lucky safety car with just 4 laps to go.
Sorry, I'm commenting in the paddock chat saying, Edwin! Because he deserved that. I mean, just persistence. Anything can truly happen in this race if you let it. Phenomenal drive from everybody out there. Race day claiming this was the worst race of my life. I don't know. The one last season was pretty bad, and it wasn't any fault of his. I wouldn't go as far to say that was the worst race of race days season. Unfortunate, yes, we all have those races, but c'est la vie.
Yes, and we're just hearing that Mackie Marquis missed the pit, that safety car. He was just too far past the pit lane to make that stop. Everyone else.
We heard that.
I know. Earlier this season, it's happened. I
believe it was it Gott Palmer? It was somebody who had that same snap. Unfortunate. But from, I believe that is the second week in a row that we will see a new driver atop the podium here in season 12. So last week we had Final Flame. This week it is GSR Edwin, both getting their first wins on the season. What a phenomenal drive. I'm just going to keep saying it because it continues to be true. What an absolute drive. Hi. Hey.
Hi.
What an absolute drive.
Absolutely. It was quite a battle of a race. The midfield was super tight for quite a while. And we got lucky. We got a couple safety cars that brought the lead of the pack together, and that very questionable rain level where the Inters were doing about as well as the slicks, and then the rain stopped. It did not continue for the end of the race.
That was the wildest weather incident that I have seen in an actual F1 race in the game. That was phenomenal. I loved watching all of those strategies play out. And it was a lot of fun just to, edge of my seat. I had no idea what was going to be the winner. Yeah, that one was a lot to process. I don't have a ton of words because I'm I need to go back and rewatch a lot of that. I know I missed a lot of the action, a lot of those strategies throughout the middle of the pack. But yeah, just phenomenal race. Sorry.
Just seeing Edwin say too that he saved a pair of soft tires in quali just in case he needed them tonight. And that was the pair of soft tires that he threw on after going through those mediums and those hards.
Brother, you are an absolute legend. Oh, what an honor it was to call that right. Where were you when GSR Edwin saved the softs? Hashtag save the softs. That's where we're going to end it here for this week. Next week finds the circus in France. We return to that face.
Track. I love that track.
This is Mitch's track. This is not mine. This is
in Canada after.
Yeah, Canada is our track, but France is going to be one fun time. So stay tuned for that. Same place, same time next week. I believe we are with Division 1 through the end of the season now. So we will be following this to the very end. Looking forward to another race in France. It is going to be elbows out once again, especially after that one. Folks are going to be really excited to get back to a circuit that has some breathing room on the outside lines. They're going to be pushing a little bit harder maybe than they would have here, but looking forward to that. Thank you very much for tuning in live. Thank you for watching a replay of today's race and supporting the channel. Thank you to our top supporters, most importantly, our YouTube members who contribute a bit of money every month to make sure that we have all of the wonderful graphics, all of the wonderful intros and production that you see on a weekly basis. So thank you very much to executive producers Coach 34, Mama Bell, and Bone Crusher 2D. Sorry, I don't think I've ever put him last in that run through. Along with co-producers Killa Vapor, Captain Snowbeardy, and Kirsten, and our fans and Fans Plus. If you don't want to throw a couple of bucks our way, that's fine. I get it. In this economy, YouTube creators, in this economy, you can just click subscribe for free. That will still help the channel. And if you do it during the stream, come on.
It played.
Who doesn't want their name to be read out in the middle of the live stream? So please be sure to subscribe. Make a fake account and subscribe just to give us something to talk about in the middle of the race. That's fine. It still counts as a person. And the only videos that channel watches are right here on Nick and Mitch. So with that, Mitch, final thoughts?
I think you got almost all of it. That's a race that I might want to watch back again to see just everything that happened. It was, fantastic. And I think we're going to have some good battles, especially for the some spots in the Constructors' Cup. Mercedes can close in a little bit. They're definitely going to jump on McLaren, and the Drivers' Championship, Screnzi got Palmer still right up there at the top.
Yeah, it is going to be an absolute dogfight to the very end. And stay here, stay tuned to Nick and Mitch right here on YouTube. We will have your Midwest Formula One Division One coverage through the end of season 12. So until then, next week, same place, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here. Take it easy. I'm Nick.
And I'm Mitch.
Happy Memorial Day if you're in the States, and if not, have a weekend.